Welcome, class of 2024. This is our counselor talk with a few freshman students. My name is Bonnie Bagri. I'm the ASB director, so I'm going to listen in and see who we are. And let's do some introductions.
Hello, my name is Chris Lee. I'm a ninth grade ASB member, and I'll let other people introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Taylor Nielsen. I'm also a ninth grade ASB member.
And I'm Mrs. Nguyen, and I'm one of the school counselors, and I have students whose last names begin with the letters A through C-A-R-D.
And I'm Mr. Escobar. Nice to meet you, school counselor with students' last names CARE, C-A-R-E to C-Z, and all English learners.
I'm Mrs. Knowles, and I work with students with last names G-A-R-C to J-E-L.
Wonderful. Let's start with that first question.
Okay, so how many AP classes are allowed for incoming sophomores, and what AP/honors classes are available?
I think I'll begin, and Mr. Escobar and Ms. Knowles, please jump in if you have any additions. But that's a really great question. And, you know, the great thing about our high school is that we don't limit the number of classes, the number of AP and honors classes that students can take. We always recommend that students challenge themselves as much as possible without getting overwhelmed. So when you think about the type of classes that you are going to be taking for 10th grade, it's really important to consider your strengths, to consider those classes that you enjoy and that you do well in. And it's all about balance. You know, we know that students and colleges know that students have not only their academics, but they have their extracurriculars and athletics and a lot of great things going on outside of school. So when thinking about your classes and in thinking about the rigor of your classes, we always want you to consider the balance of everything as well. So for 10th graders, you can take English 10 honors. That's one of the honors classes. You can take AP World History as an option for your history class. If you are in a world language, like if you're in Spanish 2 right now as a 9th grader, you can continue on to Spanish 3 honors or Spanish 3 college prep. And so there's a lot of great opportunities for 10th graders to challenge themselves in those areas that they do well in and that they enjoy. So we highly recommend that when choosing your classes and thinking about your classes, that you go to the digital course catalog and you're going to see all those descriptions there.
And just to add on, a few more options for honors and AP for 10th grade is going to be in math. So you could take geometry honors, algebra 2 honors, just depending on the math you're currently in right now. There will be some limitations because PE, you can't take an AP or honors of that. Science, you will most likely be taking chemistry or biology if you didn't take that last year or this current year. And there are a number of honors and AP that you can take as electives, but between myself and Ms. Nguyen's responses, those are pretty much the honors and AP that you can take.
Okay, thank you. And following up with that question, what is the maximum and minimum amount of classes that sophomores can take next year?
Sure, I'll jump in on that one. So all 10th graders will be expected to take 6 classes. So 6 classes total. If you are part of a special program, AVID, BAND, Air Force ROTC, or part of our ELD classes, then you can actually take up to 7 classes. Rare in some instances, a band student may take 8 if they have a 0-period jazz. But typically all of our 10th graders will be taking 6 classes, regardless of how many credits you earned in 9th grade.
Okay, thank you. How do we find the mandatory credits I still need to complete?
That is a very good question. So we have within your transcript, so anytime you get a copy of your transcript, you're going to see a graduation requirements box. So that's one of the ways, if you do currently have a copy of your transcript, you can check that out and you're going to see the needed column. So that kind of lets you know after this school year what other classes that you do need to take to satisfy those requirements. And for 10th graders, we also have a really good option within your student view. So if you actually log into your student view account and then you click on course history, you're going to be able to see the needed column as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Knowles, because I know that you are way more technology savvy than I am with the student view, but I believe that's also the other way. And that's the way we're going to recommend for 10th graders to see a copy of their transcript and to see what classes they still need to take.
Yeah, so you'll have to turn the detail on button as well to view all of the courses that you've completed thus far. And there is kind of a graph that has percentages. So let's say 4 years of English are required. Maybe it'll show 25% complete. And that means that you've completed 1 year of the 4 years of English requirements. So it's more of a graph and percentage that's on student view. And the transcript has more of a number.
And one more thing I wanted to add on that is that we are sending you all an email very, very soon. And by the time you see this, you probably would have got it already. But we have a brand new Google site that is going to break down all of this information. And so there's at least 9 different steps within that whole process to register for classes. And within those first few steps will be how do you view the classes you've taken previously, the classes that are still required for graduation. So we have it all laid out in an outline for you.
Just to kind of expand on what Mr. Escobar said, that we really want students to be checking their email. So it's super important for any 10th grader watching this right now. Definitely be checking your San Marcos High email account on Monday morning, because that's when you're going to get that information and that email from your school counselor. And as Mr. Escobar said, there's going to be all of that information within that email to direct you to the course selection website. And all those resources that we have for you to choose your classes.
Wow. And Miss Wynn, I'm going to jump in on that email thing as well as the ASB director, because we're planning on having tours for all of our freshmen this year coming up on Thursday. And it's all that information is going to your email. And so what you need to know is through your email, and then you can have that contact with that counselor. If you need a contact with the counselor, you can email them. Or if I need to answer the question as the ASB director, because that's who it came from, then you have that ability, but you got to check that school email.
So this year, when will our incoming sophomores be able to select our courses for next year?
So we kind of touched upon some of the general information already. So on Monday morning at 9 a.m., you're going to be receiving an email from your counselor that has all of the information about course selection. And of course, as Ms. Bagari said, please let your counselor know if you have any questions. You know, we are still virtual, but we are here to help you. And you can email us, you know, if you would want to set up a meeting, we could do that. We just want to make sure that you have all of the information to make the most informed decisions for your classes next year. And so you're going to get that email. You're going to work with your parents. So we definitely want you to sit down and talk to your parents about the classes that you want to take. You can also ask your current teachers if they have any recommendations for classes as well. Then you're going to fill out that Google form, and we're hoping that everyone can get that Google form filled out by next Friday, just so we can start getting everyone's classes into the computer and we can begin that process as well.
Okay, I have 2 questions here. The first one is, are the ACT and SAT going to be required for sophomores? And if so, should we be preparing for it? And will there be a PSAT?
I'll go ahead and jump in on that. Normally, what is normal these days? We would usually offer the PSAT exam in October. As of this year, we haven't made any decision to offer it. It's been canceled up until every opportunity. Just everything going on in California, our state, our city, all those things. The PSAT has not been offered for this year. Will we offer it in future years? That is still unknown. So we will continue to find out new information and provide that to our students as we become aware of it. At the moment, the SAT and ACT exams are optional for many universities. And so we don't know exactly what's going to happen for your graduating class. But for the time being, many universities, Cal States, UCs, many elite and private universities have said they're going to be test optional or test blind. So the most important thing is really to continue communication with your school counselors. And as you kind of progress through high school, we will give you that information on a continuous basis, because it could be that the UC or the Cal State system actually comes up with their own exam instead of the SAT or ACT. And again, all of that stuff is changing. So we really don't know at this point, but we will continue to update you as we get that information. And I also wanted to mention one other thing about the previous question was that we will be giving you at least a week to select courses, and the date for the deadline that we would like you to submit that to us via the Google form is on March 19th.
Something else, just to elaborate with what Mr. Escobar said, is that we actually offer a test prep program on our campus for the SAT. So even though we are still, distance learning through our Night Zone program, Mr. Campbell actually offers a free SAT test prep program. It's also online. And so if any students want to join that and even just kind of get a look at some of the questions that they're going to see on the SAT and kind of get a feel for what the exam is all about, you can do that as well.
Since unfortunately our Chinese class has ended this year, how should students that were in that course make up those credits and finish them?
Definitely an unfortunate situation to end any language program or any program at our school. But with the Chinese language program, if students wanted to continue learning, advance to higher levels, we would recommend looking into taking those classes at community colleges. At the moment, Palomar College and Miracosta College do not offer a Chinese program, but we did find a few others kind of in the region. So you can always reach out to your school counselor and really try to find out, how far do I have to look to get this? Because a lot of times the Chinese classes are offered online, or right now during the pandemic, maybe in the summer, all the way through fall semester, these classes may still continue to be online. So if you were part of our Chinese 1 and 2, you can look into taking a Chinese 102, Chinese 201 at any of our local or regional community colleges, or even wherever you can find the class online. If you are in Chinese 3, then of course you could still take a Chinese 102 or 201 and work with your school counselors, and we'll help you fill out all the necessary forms to do so. There's something very unique with the community colleges, and it's called a K-12 form. This is a form, K-12, that you fill out with your school counselors, and essentially the cost of the class, the tuition, is completely waived. So you wouldn't have to pay for the tuition. There may be some fees associated, like an ASB or student services type of fee that you'd have to pay, but usually that's about $26 to $28. So if you think about it, if you take a community college class and you're only having to pay $26 to $28, you could be saving up to $250, $300, even more. So we highly encourage you to continue with your language in any way possible. And if you do end up taking the class at the community college, you actually already earn college credit, and you can transfer that to any university.
What are some of the classes, what are some of the electives that are offered for sophomores?
Very good question. And there are many. There are many electives that we offer. Now, thinking about, though, for 10th graders, everyone's going to be taking your English, history, math, science, PE. So a lot of our 10th graders choose to take their PE because of the 2-year requirement. You take it in 9th, you take it in 10th. And then, there's one extra space in 11th and 12th grade to add an elective. So for 10th graders, typically you do have that 6th class for you to take an elective. We have CTE classes, so we highly recommend that all 10th graders look at all of our CTE, career and technical education classes. The wonderful thing about those classes is it's actually a pathway. So if you take criminal justice 1 in 10th grade, for instance, you can continue on in criminal justice 2 in junior year. We have many classes and pathways for students who are interested in a variety of careers. So we highly, again, encourage you to go to our course catalog and check out all of our course offerings. Something else to keep in mind when you think about electives is that it's super important that all 10th graders give us elective alternates. because the way, and this might be getting into a little bit too much detail, but the way that it works is that seniors get priority in getting their classes, and then juniors, and then sophomores. So because we are such a large school, we have over 3,500 students on our campus. Unfortunately, there are some electives that do become full with juniors and seniors. So in that case, the computer would then assign you to your alternate elective. So it's very, very important to pick the electives that you want to take, and then make sure that you really look closely at those alternates as well.
Just to follow up a little bit more with that, since sophomores do have a tight schedule of all the core classes that you're taking, typically that 6th class, if you started a language freshman year, could be your language or second level language versus another CTE kind of elective. And we do have quite a bit of new classes that are offered. So check that course catalog. We've got child development. We have a whole new pathway of a filmmaking academy. So look into that. We got some filmmaking English and history classes along with filmmaking 1 or the art of film. So lots of new stuff. Definitely check the course catalog.
And one more thing to add is we don't necessarily recommend it, but you do have the option to also delay taking PE, for example. So if you don't want to take your second year of PE, dance, ROTC, weight training, whichever it may be, you could always push that to 11th grade and then create an opportunity for you to take an elective, an art class, a CTE class in 10th grade instead.
So when we're signing up for courses, will we be able to sign up for dual enrollment classes this year, or will that not be an option?
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Escobar and Ms. Knowles, but I believe that there's a dual enrollment section within our course selection link that we're going to be sending you guys on Monday morning. So absolutely, the answer is yes. So look at that information on our website. We probably won't have you start signing up for any dual enrollment courses until later in this term. So just once again, be checking your email, and Ms. Alvarez, who is the district coordinator of our dual enrollment program, whenever we're ready to start having students actually fill out the application and get themselves signed up, she'll be communicating via email, and then you'll get all of that information.
Yeah, so it is on our course selection website. The tab is dual enrollment courses. And we do have the fall courses that we'll be offering on there listed. So we have economics, there's a US history course, some college success, and a couple other classes. And there is a Google form to complete to show your interest in dual enrollment. And so dual enrollment is 5 credits that you would earn. It is a 1 semester course. And it would a weighted class on your San Marcos High School transcript.
You know what? I'm wondering if it might be a good idea to actually explain what dual enrollment is for this particular group.
Yeah, I can jump in on that. And I was just basically going to say is dual enrollment is the opportunity to take a community college class physically on your high school campus. Right now, during all these times that we're going through, the program has been offered online because nobody's on campus right now or yet. But essentially, again, dual enrollment is the opportunity to take a college class, the ones that Ms. Knowles mentioned and the ones that are going to be on our website, on our actual campus. And so in the fall, I think we're still kind of working out the details if it's going to be online or in person. But in the future, when we're able to, these classes will be the college classes offered at San Marcos High School. We do have an additional opportunity, which is called concurrent enrollment. So again, dual enrollment is on our campus. Concurrent enrollment is you basically taking any college class that Palomar or Miracosta offers, and that's either taking it on their campus. If it's online, as many programs are still doing, then it's taking their opportunity online. So again, dual enrollment, our campus, concurrent enrollment, taking it through their school.
Okay, thank you. Which 0 periods will be offered?
We have 0 period weight training. I'm trying to think of all the ones for 10th graders. 0 period weight training, 0 period AVID 10, 0 period chemistry, 0 period Spanish 2. I think. I know we did last year. I
There's
believe
zero
that's it for the
period.
10th graders.
Air Force ROTC, is that available, 0 period?
0 period jazz for any band students. Possibly 0 period ASB, Ms. Bonnie.
And for all the 10th graders out there watching, you will be able to see in the Google form, it will designate next to the course title if there is an offering for that 0 period. So you'll see it when you're selecting your classes within the form as well.
Just following up with signing up for 0 periods, if we select to join a 0 period, are we guaranteed that, or is it just in hopes of getting it?
So as we said earlier, as 10th graders, the way that the computer schedules students into classes is that they take the seniors first and then the juniors and then the sophomores. So Taylor, I'm so glad that you're asking this question, because unfortunately, by the time we do get to the sophomores, there are some 0 periods that do become full. And in that situation, like if there is still some space by the time we get to 10th graders, the way that the computer assigns students to get into the 0 period is that it's completely random. So the computer will randomly select who gets into that 0 period and who doesn't. So yeah, so unfortunately for 10th graders, it depends on how many upperclassmen sign up for that class and are interested in it. And then the computer will randomly select who gets it.
And just to add on to that, I do want to clarify that when we're all selecting classes, nobody's schedule is guaranteed. So if you're a senior, if you're a 9th grader, we're all putting in our requests right now. This is my ideal. This was what I would hope to take if all worked out. And then that is the reason we asked you for alternates. So again, nobody's schedule is guaranteed. It could be that you want to take a certain class is only offered 1 time a day, and then another class you want is at the same time. So there's conflicts and other things that happen as well behind the scenes. But like I said, we take all of your information, everything that you want to take, we put it into our computer, everything gets randomized. And then if your first choice doesn't work out, we move on to your alternate number 1, alternate number 2 and 3, as mentioned. So really nobody's schedule is guaranteed, and we try to make it work out. All of us as school counselors really want to make your schedules work. So I want to let you know that, we're not here saying you're going to get it and you're not going to get it. We try to get everybody their top choice schedules and work really hard behind the scenes to make it all work out. And if we have to go to those alternates, it's because there was just no other option.
Thank you. Are CSF applications offered? If so, when?
You want me to take that one?
Sure, Bonnie, thank you.
So our CSF applications are offered usually every year, but in this pandemic, it's been a little bit tough with this particular program. The teacher that's in charge of that is the club advisor, Mr. Ziegler. He posts when things are ready on the school website. And if you look on the school website under programs, so the regular school website under programs, you'll go down to the bottom and it'll say CSF and then it says application. So you can click on that. As of a few days ago, it wasn't live. There was no application on there. So there's still some debate on how exactly we're going to do that, but they will make sure to continue that program as we head into what I want to say, in-person school, because it's a little bit tricky to try to do all of that virtually.
So does San Marcos have an FFA program? And if so, what is the FFA program?
Sure, so I'll go ahead and jump in. FFA is typically Future Farmers of America. It's not just something at our school, it's something, globally, nationally. And by becoming or joining a class in any of our agriculture pathways, so to speak, our teachers involved with that program encourage you to join the FFA. I don't want to say it's mandatory, but it's highly, highly encouraged, because if you're part of FFA, you can gain leadership opportunities, opportunities to present at like our local fair, and really a lot of bigger impact The courses that usually you can take to be part of that program are agricultural biology, agricultural chemistry, veterinary science, floral design, and for a select few, agricultural business management. Those are typically the courses that our agriculture students are a part of, and at the same time, encouraged to be part of FFA.
So
Okay.
just to, sorry, Chris. Just to clarify, is FFA program a program outside of school, and it's not a course that you take during school?
Correct. So it is a program, almost like a club, an association that, like I said, it's not just known here locally. It's a big picture thing. It's national. It's global, and students can be part of leadership opportunities within that program. They can go to state conferences. We also usually have a farm within San Marcos Unified that our students who are part of FFA can actually go and take care of pigs, chickens, goats, you name it, through, again, working with those teachers. And every now and then we've even had the opportunity to bring those animals to campus through special agreements, and really just so that students can share the great things that they're doing, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. And it's an opportunity to be a part of something bigger than San Marcos High School, because you can be part of statewide leadership committees by being part of FFA.
I'm going to jump in on that too, because FFA on our campus is also registered as a club, because they are a club, but they're a nationwide club as well. So they're part of other clubs from other schools. And there's actually lots of programs on our campus that are clubs, but they belong to other clubs as well. They're nationwide. So they're not just on San Marcos High School campus. I'm thinking of, it's a debate club. They debate and they talk about the world. I can't think of what the name of it is. Somebody help me. There's a few other clubs too that are that way. CSF actually is that way as well. National Honor Society is also that. So there's lots of clubs that have affiliations outside of San Marcos High School. Model United Nations, that's the name of it. And also Key Club is another, it's a service club. So there's a lot of different ones. You just gotta kind of check them out and see which one you might want. And you would have a lot of different leadership opportunities. ASB is another one like that. We belong to a state organization and a nationwide thing for leadership.
Okay, we have our last question here. When can we meet virtually with our counselors, and how do we make an appointment?
I can jump in. So definitely email your counselor. They're best reached by email right now. And on our signatures, you'll find a link to our Calendly. So that's how you can click on it, schedule an appointment, 15-minute appointment with your counselor. And there's different days and time slots that are available. But please reach out to us. We'll be sending the email again. You'll receive it on Monday morning at 9 a.m. So be checking your school email. There's a lot of important information on the website, very detailed. Please keep in mind that we are going through a 1 through 6 schedule. So this year you had classes that may have been year round, and some of them were just one term. Next year, your classes will be all year, all 6 classes. You'll be selecting 6 and they will be all year round. And there'll be 5 credits per semester. And again, the due date for that is Friday, March 19th to submit your course selection form.
Wow, thank you everyone for doing such a fabulous job asking questions and counselors answering all those questions for us. We are finished.